Hi, I'm Emma, and I want to share the story of my challenging relationship with my mother-in-law, Katherine. She always had somewhat old-fashioned beliefs and never liked me. My husband Charles and I used to live far away from them, which kept her influence away. But when Charles got a job near them, we found ourselves back in her sphere of influence. Dealing with Katherine wouldn't have been a problem for me. I've learned to handle toxic and controlling people because of my own issues with my parents. Thankfully, my father-in-law, Robert, has always been supportive, which makes things easier for me. The real challenge, however, is Katherine's access to my 9-year-old daughter, Mary. Mary, who is always affectionate and enjoys family time, only knows Robert and Katherine as her grandparents. This is because we have no contact with my parents. Despite my past problems with Katherine, I put them aside for Mary's sake. I allied with Katherine to maintain a healthy relationship with Mary's grandparents because Charles values family, making it hard for me to cut off Katherine sooner. Robert and Katherine are generally affectionate towards Mary, but there's a persistent issue with Katherine. She consistently criticizes Mary's diet, claiming that I'm not feeding her properly. According to Katherine, Mary needs more nuts for protein, and she accuses me of removing essential nutrients from her meals. I've explained countless times that Mary is allergic to nuts, and even the smell can trigger severe reactions. However, Katherine insists I'm wrong, saying Mary needs exposure to overcome her allergies and accusing me of being a bad mother. I kinda expected this from Katherine again. We consulted with a pediatrician, and Mary gets balanced meals. People won't die if they don't eat nuts, but Mary could face severe health issues if she consumes them. Despite my explanations and the doctor's advice, Katherine never accepted the logic. She firmly believed that exposure was the best way to eliminate allergies. Feeling exhausted from trying to reason with her, I faced accusations of being a bad mother. Katherine even tried to convince Mary to eat allergenic foods, but Mary, aware of the consequences, consistently refused. Growing increasingly concerned about Katherine's actions, I decided to discuss it with Charles. I expressed my worry about leaving Mary alone with Katherine, fearing she might sneak allergens into Mary's food for exposure therapy. Don't be ridiculous, Emma. My mom may be old-fashioned, but she knows her limits. Besides, Dad is always there to intervene in her experiments. Mary loves spending time with her grandparents, and we can't just tell her to stop. Charles dismissed my concerns. But Katherine's attitude towards Mary's allergies didn't improve, and I was genuinely worried about Mary's safety every time she stayed with her grandparents without me. We needed to address this, but Charles assured me there was no need to cut off his parents over something trivial. Mary deserves the love of her grandparents. She's content with them. Since you're so concerned about Mom, I'll talk to her. I'm sure she'll listen to me, Charles promised. Trusting Charles's words and considering Mary's genuine love for her grandparents, I couldn't bring myself to tell Mary to stop seeing them. If she had expressed any desire not to see them, I would have respected her wishes. However, I hadn't realized that no one could stop Katherine, not even Charles, who failed to change her ways. The turning point came at Mary's 11th birthday party, where Robert and Katherine were invited. We promised to attend Mary's birthday, and Katherine seemed overly excited. My motherly instincts were on high alert, even though I couldn't pinpoint why. To my surprise, Katherine and Robert were among the first guests to arrive, which was unusual since Katherine usually wanted to spend as little time near me as possible. Katherine handed Mary a large square box wrapped in birthday-themed paper, saying, "Happy birthday, dear Mary. Here's your gift. Grandma has got you the best gift ever." Mary expressed her gratitude, and Katherine added, "The gift is so big. What's in it, Grandpa?" "I don't know, Mary. Your grandma picked the gift, and she won't even tell me what she got you. We'll both find out when you open it. Open Grandma's gift and see what she got you. I'm sure you'll love it, my dear. I'll be your absolute favorite grandma. I can't wait to see what you gave me. I'm so excited. We can open all the gifts after cutting the cake, Mary. Let all your friends come, and once we're done with the cake, you can go on to open the gifts." No. You need to let Mary open my gift before she cuts the cake. That's the entire reason why I came extra early, to give her my gift, Katherine insisted. While I grew suspicious of Katherine's behavior, Mary appeared visibly happy to receive a nice gift from her grandma. The large, heavy-looking present fueled Mary's excitement, and she eagerly anticipated opening it. I acquiesced to Mary's insistence on opening Katherine's gift before the birthday cake, as Katherine had told her it needed to be done the correct way. I didn't want to make her sad on her birthday, so I allowed it. Little did I know what disaster would follow. Mary and her parents were betrayed by the one person they were supposed to trust. Katherine not only ruined Mary's birthday, but also turned everyone against her. As Mary opened her gift, she discovered a large cake inside with her name on it. Her joy lasted only a minute until she became unconscious. Charles and I rushed to our daughter, confused and terrified when we noticed the swelling of her throat. In disbelief, I saw Charles rush to get an epinephrine while someone else called the police. Knowing who was responsible, I confronted Katherine, demanding, "What the hell did you give Mary? What's in that cake?" Katherine feigned innocence, saying, Nothing, Emma. It's just a normal cake. I don't understand what transpired. There must be some action on your part that led to Mary fainting. It appears evident that you have neglected to provide her with proper nutrition, despite my prior warnings about potential consequences. You seem to have ignored them. Please refrain from attempting to shift the blame onto me. Just moments ago, Mary was happy and in good spirits, and now she appears to be experiencing an allergic reaction. I implore you to disclose what you have done to cause this distress to Mary, Katherine. I sincerely hope you did not tamper with the cake. I regret not keeping a closer watch on you when you promised to procure the best gift for Mary. Inform Emma of your actions and take responsibility. Look at Mary. She is turning blue. Ignoring Katherine's presence, I focused on Mary, and Charles rushed over with the epinephrine that I typically use for my child. Although the swelling subsided somewhat, Mary remained unconscious. It became evident that a hospital visit was the only viable option to ensure her complete recovery. The room was filled with palpable concern for Mary. Tears welled up in my eyes, and even Charles appeared on the verge of tears. Katherine, already in tears herself, seemed somewhat frightened. At that moment, I resolved to dissect the cake and discover its contents. What I uncovered left me utterly shocked to my core. I demanded an explanation from Katherine, questioning her sanity for giving my daughter a cake filled with nuts. I had explicitly warned her numerous times about Mary's nut allergy. Katherine, what is wrong with you? You callously ignored my cautions and included nuts in the cake, jeopardizing Mary's well-being. How could you be so recklessly foolish? My only intention was to safeguard Mary, not to cause her harm. I detested the fact that Emma imposed such strict limitations on Mary's diet. While it's true that she might experience adverse reactions at times, gradual exposure could have been a solution. My frustration erupted when, in response to Emma's actions, I confronted her, exclaiming, "Are you out of your mind? My daughter is allergic to nuts, for God's sake. She could have died from this reaction. Who granted you the authority to unilaterally decide how to handle her allergies? Look at the mess you've caused. I am Mary's grandmother, and I have the right to care for my baby. I assure you she will recover in time. All of you are overreacting, attempting to frighten and punish me for nothing. I bet this is all part of Camilla's plan to tarnish my reputation. Listen to me, Katherine. If things go my way today, you will face severe consequences for your actions. But right now, ensuring my daughter's well-being is my top priority." As I finished expressing my concern, the ambulance arrived with paramedics. They attended to Mary and transported her to the hospital with us accompanying her. The doctors at the hospital informed us that Mary would need time to regain consciousness and would have to stay at the hospital for a day. Emotionally overwhelmed, I broke down in the hospital, finding solace in Charles's comforting arms. After collecting myself, I contacted Robert to update everyone that Mary was no longer in immediate danger. Upon hanging up the call, I turned to Charles and expressed my deep resentment. Charles, I will never forgive Katherine for what happened today. Do you realize that she could have endangered our daughter's life? I've been contemplating the gravity of the situation, Emma. Trust me, it's beyond belief. Something I wouldn't have accepted had I not witnessed it firsthand. My mother has transformed into someone so heartless that she's unrecognizable to me now. Katherine orchestrated all of this merely to prove that I am a negligent mother. She feigned concern for my daughter's happiness, but it never occurred to her that she was putting Mary in grave danger. Even after everything unfolded, she persisted in claiming that I had orchestrated the entire incident. Camilla, today has been an eye-opener for me, revealing the extent to which my mother is willing to go to tarnish your image. I can't express how deeply sorry I am for not realizing this sooner and for not taking decisive action to limit her presence in our lives. I feel a profound need to shield Mary from my mother's toxicity. I failed as a husband and an even worse father. The gravity of the situation was starting to dawn on Charles, while Robert, who had always been a reliable grandfather, was undoubtedly affected by Katherine's egregious actions. Today, she crossed all boundaries, and despite getting away unscathed from previous stunts, this time, we were determined not to let her escape the consequences easily. We reached a pivotal moment where we could no longer turn a blind eye to Katherine's harmful influence. It was clear that her actions posed a significant threat to Mary's well-being, and we couldn't allow her to continue wreaking havoc in our lives. The decision was made. Katherine would no longer have a place in our family. We were resolved to protect Mary from any further harm and ensure that she grows up in a healthy and nurturing environment. It may be a difficult path, but for the sake of our daughter's safety and happiness, it was a decision we were committed to enforcing. Following a profound discussion, my husband and I swiftly reached a decision while Mary was still in the hospital. It was time to return home. Robert, Katherine, and a few guests stayed behind, seeking updates on the situation. This presented the opportune moment to address Katherine's transgressions. 4 hours had passed since the incident when we arrived home. In the living room, we found Robert scolding Katherine, who nonchalantly typed away on her phone. Beside them lay the untouched birthday cake that Mary never had the chance to cut. Despite the sight bringing tears to my eyes, I restrained my emotions. As soon as they noticed our presence, Robert and Katherine rushed towards us. "I just got an update," I said. "Mary is in good hands, and she'll recover soon, though she's still unconscious. The doctors are optimistic." Thank God Mary is going to be all right. I was frantic with worry, but it seems there was nothing to be concerned about. It wasn't even a significant issue. Mary will be fine, and her immunity against nuts will improve in no time. Her allergies will become a thing of the past. I told you I know what's best. However, at that moment, Charles unleashed his anger on Katherine, berating her for everything. Robert joined in, expressing his disapproval. The guests, visibly shocked, stared at Katherine with disdain. I, too, was seething with anger. "I've had enough, Katherine," I declared. "We've given you multiple chances to prove yourself. Even after your actions led to my daughter being hospitalized, you showed no remorse. This is the final straw. We will never allow you near Mary or our family again. You are banned from this house." Katherine retorted, "You can't dictate where I go. Your son won't cut me off over nothing. I won't let you take away my granddaughter just because we disagree on parenting." "No, Mom," I responded firmly. "You will never come near me or my family again. Dad is welcome here anytime, but you are not. He's the only rational grandparent Mary has. He's made earnest efforts to protect Mary from harm. Today, you sent Mary to the hospital, insisting it was the right decision. I cannot allow someone so callous to be around my daughter." Katherine couldn't fathom her own son turning against her. She placed utmost trust in Charles to defend her, unaware that he was a reasonable man, not deluded like her. Surprisingly, even the guests began berating her. Katherine found herself cornered with nowhere to go. Not even Robert sided with her. In a fit of desperation, she screamed at us, blaming me for intentionally setting her up to humiliate her. This is your fault, Emma. You've managed to turn everyone against me. I won't forgive you for this. You should be begging for our forgiveness. Your actions have tarnished your own name and taken you away from Mary. You'll never see her again. I'll sue you for grandparents' rights. I'll take you to court, and the judge will grant me visitation. Just wait and see. I responded firmly, good luck trying to get grandparents' rights when you're in jail. I bet the judge would find it amusing to have a felon ask for grandparents' rights after endangering her own granddaughter. Katherine protested. What do you mean, Emma? Why would I go to jail? I haven't done anything wrong. What you've done is a crime, Katherine. You can be arrested by the police for knowingly exposing a child to allergens. It's considered a form of poisoning. Perhaps you weren't aware, but Charles and I know. We've already called the police on you. They're coming to arrest you. In denial, Katherine retorted, no, you're lying. This can't be happening. You can't get me arrested for this. Katherine's panicked expression revealed her desperation as she pleaded with us to drop the charges. Tears streamed down her face, and she descended into hysterics. Just then, 2 officers entered and informed her that she was under arrest. Desperately, she clung to our hands, begging us not to send her to jail. Charles, unmoved, instructed the cops to take her away, while I gave Katherine a cold stare, signaling that her deceitful game had come to an end. In a last-ditch effort, she turned to Robert for help, imploring him to intervene. Robert, do something, please. You can't just let your wife get arrested like this, she pleaded. Robert, however, stood firm, declaring, when my wife has done something truly horrifying and shown no remorse for it, I will not protect her. For years, I've warned you to amend your ways, and you never listened. Today, you put my only granddaughter in danger. I was only trying to protect her, not realizing it would hurt her so badly. Please. Robert, I am your wife. You need to help me, Katherine pleaded. Charles, reinforcing his decision, stated, Katherine, I've already kicked you out of my life. It's the right thing to do. In fact, that's what I intend to do as well. Emma, I will talk to a divorce lawyer. I want to be done with this as soon as possible. There's no way I'm staying with a psycho like you. This time, I will protect my granddaughter and my kids from your presence. In a state of shock, Katherine pleaded desperately, no, Robert. You can't do this to me. I'm your wife. Ignoring her pleas, Robert instructed the cops to take her away. Katherine continued crying and begging for help, bringing a tumultuous end to an event that had long concluded. A sense of tranquility settled within me as Charles, Robert, and I returned to the hospital. After the departure of the remaining guests, clearly upset with Katherine's actions, they pledged to inform everyone about her reprehensible behavior. The following day, our little daughter Mary woke up, showing considerable distress. However, she displayed an intense fear of Katherine. Mary cried, imploring us to keep her away from her grandmother, recounting how Katherine had frequently tried to force her to consume allergens. In a situation where Grandpa consistently intervened, addressing Mary's fears, we assured her that her grandma would never hurt her again. We made a solemn promise that Katherine would no longer be a part of our lives, emphasizing Mary's love for her grandpa, who would continue to be a supportive presence. Mary, still traumatized by the recent events, expressed her aversion to Katherine. To assist Mary in processing her emotions, we enrolled her in sessions with a child therapist. Concurrently, Charles and I began couples therapy to enhance our communication as a family. The support of Robert played a crucial role in our collective healing, and we witnessed significant improvements, fostering a stronger bond among us. Meanwhile, Katherine's life took a swift downturn after the incident. Her actions had consequences, and the repercussions of her behavior became evident in the rapid decline of her circumstances. Once Katherine's own family discovered her reprehensible actions, they scolded her and promptly severed ties with her. Even her friends, repulsed by her behavior, distanced themselves from her. Faced with the consequences of her actions, she found herself in a desperate situation, crying and pleading with everyone for bail money. Unsuccessful in garnering support, Robert filed for divorce the very next day. Katherine was served with legal papers while still in jail. Her descent into turmoil accelerated upon receiving the divorce papers in her holding cell, unleashing a torrent of screams. In the following months, Robert successfully secured a straightforward divorce, capitalizing on the state laws. With the police report serving as damning testimony, our legal pursuit against Katherine unfolded. Although she was expected to compensate us for Mary's medical bills, her lack of resources led to a lengthy sentence, as the judge ruled against her. Additionally, we obtained restraining orders to ensure her distance from our family. Confident that Katherine would not have the opportunity to approach us again, we remained vigilant. However, in the unlikely event that she attempts to breach the boundaries, she should be prepared to face the unwavering protection of Mama and Papa Bear, who are resolute in doing anything necessary to safeguard Mary. I hope you guys enjoy this story. Click that subscribe button to watch more incoming interesting stories. Thank you.